Before even building myself a complete team, I deviated from the path of logic to fuel my curiosity. Attack increases defense, introducing Ben Bigger, the one and only defense character in version 1.0. Not only does this bear of an accountant gain some insanely high attack stats from his core passive, he also has some disgusting damage multipliers on his M2 and his signature W engine. When successfully triggering a block counter during Ben's special attack or EX special attack, inflict an additional 300% of Ben's defense as damage. His W engine reduces damage taken by 9.5%. After being attacked, the next attack to hit an enemy will trigger a critical hit and deal 780%, 960 if you're fully upgraded, of the equipper's defense as additional damage. This effect can be triggered once every 7.5 seconds. Now obviously I was not able to get his W engine to S5 yet, but I've heard he will be the rate up for Julian's banner, and what do you know? I'm also gonna M6 S5 her, so I might just feature his upgraded damage in a future video. Anyway, let's look at some of Ben's damage, and then we'll look at some practical uses, and you can decide if he's worth building. I put him in a team with Nicole and Lucy and was able to get his ultimate to do a combined 100k damage on a level 50 enemy in VR simulation. His EX specials are also doing an average of 40k if it counters, and the follow-up does similar numbers combined. He's equipped with his signature W engine at S3 and using 2-piece Soul Rock and 4-piece Infernal Metal with everything on defense percent main stats. I got his defense to 2117, which brings his attack to 2908. In case you're wondering, I've tried a fire damage piece on him and it actually dealt lower damage. So it seems like the W engine's multiplier is simply more powerful. So his damage is actually legitimately good. His base attack is higher than both my main DPS's, which is just ridiculous. And when there's a teammate of the same attribute or faction in the team, his shield will also provide a 16% crit rate increase. So he's now in my current fire team with Soldier 11 and Lucy. Also ran some runs with Nicole in place of Lucy, but Lucy produced better results overall. The run I'm using is in Shield Defense 15. So we start off with Ben doing a counter and spinning the first wave into a corner. My team doesn't quite have enough damage to let them scatter and hunt them down, so I need to take them all in one go if I want to get a good rank. And that's one thing about Ben, his skills are slow, but that allows you to switch characters in to do their thing while he keeps the enemies busy, and we don't have to worry about him dying because he's a tank. I'm sure you've already noticed though, but a downside to using Ben is his need for enemies to attack him. Without the counter, his W engine doesn't trigger and his follow-ups are also weaker. With that being said though, he is able to deal like 100,000 damage in a stage where the enemies are over leveled, so for a sub DPS, he's actually really strong. However, I'm guessing his role is pretty much just sub DPS, sub breaker, because as a main DPS, he's extremely lacking on energy, not to mention you also are waiting for enemies to hit you. He's also gonna need a lot more hits or a faster attack speed because Soldier 11 is casually beating his counter EX special damage with her basic attack string. Another inherent flaw with Ben as a main DPS is that he can't really deal damage against stunned enemies because, you know, you need enemies to attack you. You could intentionally leave the small fry alive so you can get hit by them, but it's also too inconsistent and they can be very annoying when left alive. Despite all his flaws, he did help me get an S rank clear for Shield Defense 15, so I'd say he's actually outperforming my expectation. But after all that, I'm sure the question remains, should you build Ben bigger? Well, if you don't have any other options and you're saving for future banners, then I'd say yes, but not as a priority. Defense and defense percent is an easy stat to obtain, so once you've saved enough spare disk drives, upgrading and equipping Ben with them might be a good play. However, he does need his W engine for him to deal those crazy numbers with his EX special counter. While his attack stat can be high due to his passive, he doesn't have offensive skills with high attack multipliers like a DPS would. And also, his damage does not help with Koida's combined basic attacks. With that being said, if you ever have enemies that start hitting harder than an Asian mom slipper, Ben's shield could help your team with survivability and also maybe give you an increased critical rate. Also, if we start encountering bosses that keep spamming AoE skills and you don't know how to evade them, maybe you could just switch him out and block everything. But let me know how you would build Ben bigger and who you team him up with. If I see an interesting suggestion, I'll give it a shot. But until next time, thank you for watching, this has been MG, and I will see you guys around. Bye bye.